Hello again. It's now been almost 3 months since my last update from Korea, and obviously a lot of things have happened since. So for one, I've completed my research stay in Korea. I'm back now in Denmark. And if you remember, I went to Korea to conduct a couple of research interviews. So in total, I've completed 20 research interviews with project practitioners and researchers. So I collected really a rich amount of data, which I'm now currently analyzing and transforming into hopefully 2 papers later on. But also, it's been a pretty turbulent time while I was in Korea. So, as if you have read the news, you might have heard of the impeachment of the former president and then the election of the new one. And moreover, all this sable rattling between the US and North Korea. So, it was an exciting time, but it also was a really enriching time, and I learned a tremendous amount of things over there. Yet, I must say I'm quite happy to be now back in Denmark, where things are a little bit calmer and also a little bit less confusing. Moreover, I just made it back right in time for Danish summer, which is really great, at least for the 5 days that it lasts. So what else happened? Just 2 weeks ago, I was at a conference in the US, in Boston to be precise. And so this whole conferencing, this is also part of the academic life. So presenting there, getting in touch with other researchers, learning about their progresses, but most of all, networking for potential future collaborations or potential future jobs if you want. So how do you get to these conferences? Well, the simple thing would just to be to pay the fee and go. But usually you would also like to make yourself heard there and present something. So this means you have to apply with some work on your research. And I know in other fields that often just requires an abstract or maybe a poster to go into the application, but it's a little bit different in my field, which is broadly speaking organizational sciences. So I typically have to submit a paper, mostly a full paper, some early stage. So usually for the summer conferences, it's around New Year's, which makes for great Christmas holidays, as you can imagine. So these submissions are then reviewed, and you'll hear back regarding an acceptance or, in the bad case, a rejection a couple of months later. So you might remember during my last update in March, I was really excited because just both of my conference submissions were accepted. So that's how long it takes. Then after this acceptance, there is usually a revision round where you have to adjust the paper based on the reviewer comments that you hopefully get. And this can be a very quick fix, just a couple of additions, but sometimes it can also take up a lot of time. And this is currently the case for me for a conference I'm going to in 2 weeks. For that, we have submitted only the short version of the paper back in January, and now I had to develop it from the initial 8 pages to some 30 pages. So you can imagine this is quite some work to do, especially since my knowledge on the whole matter has significantly increased since back in January when we submitted the short paper version. So putting that all together is almost like writing an entirely new paper. Anyways, the conference in Boston, from which I just returned, was really great. It was a comparatively small conference with a little less than 200 participants because it was a really focused conference. It was centered almost exclusively around project studies, so the crowd was pretty homogeneous, obviously. But what I was really surprised of is how many practitioners attended. So it seems like what we do academically does have some relevance outside the universities, and the people from industry are actually interested into hearing about this research and engaging in the communication. So anyway, I presented my paper there, and I got really interesting comments, which now help me to really develop the work further into a journal paper. So this is basically the end game. And this is just a very normal approach in my field. So you take some medium well-developed concept or research to a conference, you present it there and hope for insightful comments and insightful discussions. And then you take these comments, you take the critique you get to sharpen the idea and transform it then to a solid journal paper. And having journal papers, this is then the academic endgame. This is how you really build up your reputation. So based on that criteria, I would say Boston was quite a success for me. I got a lot of good feedback that I can work with. But moreover, it's always a really great opportunity to get to know the other people in the field, and not only this very experienced names you know from the papers where you now finally can put a face to it, but it's also about meeting other PhD students who just have similar struggles, but often also the same kind of enthusiasm regarding their research. So this is a really nice possibility to connect with them. Yet, going to conferences is obviously not cheap, so not only do you have a flight to pay for and accommodations there, but usually there's also a conference fee that even at early bird student rates can amount to a couple of €100. So this can amount to quite a lot of money. Luckily, my university actually grants me a budget for these kind of activities. And additionally, it's reasonably easy for students from my university to also obtain additional external funds, so third-party money. And yeah, I mentioned some time ago that Danish PhD life is pretty unique, and not having to go through this tedious search for funds is just one of the really great things about it that really allows me to go to conferences and take part in this academic part of life. So now I'm looking forward to a great summer with lots of writing to do, unfortunately. So I'll see you again in half a year with my final update. Take care until then, and bye bye.